Hello and welcome back to another Unreal Engine 4 and 5 tutorial. In this tutorial I will teach you how to open and close a garage door. This is what we are going to create. Okay, let's get started. Open up the content drawer and let's create another blueprint. So blueprint class of actor. Let's name this garage door. So garage door 2, because I have created one before. Let's open it up. Let's add a trigger box. So type collision box. Type open close underscore trigger. And let's click and drag to assign it as a root. So in the details panel, type collision, and let's go to the presets, go to custom. So I want to ignore all, only to overlap pawn, our player. Because I don't want to throw a projectile and to trigger events. I want only our player to trigger events. Next, let's add our door. So let's add a cube. And let's name it garage door underscore SM for static mesh. Now let's make this to look like a door. Now to determine where is the front and left and back, you can see over here these arrows. So this is the front, where this red arrow is. So here is going to be our front. Now let's make it like this, because we want to open the door like this. Let's go to the front view. And let's rescale it like this. Let's make the door a bit tinier. And let's put all the way to the back, or something like this. Because we want to leave the trigger box from behind and the door to close. Okay, now we have a slight problem if you want to open the door. So if you want to open and close, it's going to be like this. So the doors are not opening and closing like this. Now this is because the pivot is in the middle of this mesh. Now let's add a custom pivot, and there's a very easy way to do this. Let's add arrow component. So these are lightweight, you can use them as much as you want. Now let's go to the left view, and let's put this arrow to be in the middle of this mesh. Now if you click this door and attach it to the arrow, now everywhere you move this arrow, this will follow the garage door. You see, if we move the arrow, the door follows. Now actually this is going to be our pivot point, like a hinge. Now if you want to open it, it's going to be like this. We're going to manipulate the arrow, not the garage door itself. Let's compile and save. Now let's go to the event graph. And let's delete this, we don't need them. Okay, so with the trigger box selected, scroll all the way down. We need begin overlap and end overlap. Like in every video I'm mentioning, never do this, so never go cast to third-person character, because it's not good for optimization. Instead, let's go from the other actor, type equal, and now we're going to get our player character, and we're going to check if our player character overlaps with this trigger box. If that's true, let's call a branch. Then we can open the door. So I can get this and Control D to duplicate. So you don't have to get this and duplicate and do the same. Instead, we can use this return value with this and this with other actor. Now to make it more clear, I will just put like this. So we want, when you enter the trigger box, to open the door. Now get the arrow component and type set relative rotation. Now let's see what is the current rotation of the arrow. So it's 0, 0, 0 when it's closed. And if you want to open the garage door, so maybe like this, or let's say like a real garage, a little bit down. So these are going to be the values when the garage door is open. Now I don't know why is this 360, if I put this 0. So we want on the y-axis to rotate for 85 degrees when it's opened. And when it's closed, it's going to be 0. Now to manipulate this over time, we need to create a timeline. Garage door timeline. Let's open it up. And let's create a track of float. And I'm going to name this opening alpha. Length is going to be 2 seconds. And let's right click and create a keyframe. Time is going to be 0 and value of 0, the starting point. And right click, let's create another one. So this time and the length needs to match. So here has to be 2. And the value is going to be 1 because that's the default. So click these buttons and compile and save. Let's close it for now. Now when the player overlaps this trigger box, we can play. And from here, we can type lerp rotation, so lerp rotator. So return value is going to be over here. And update. Now like we said, A is going to be starting point, which is 0. So A is closed. And B is opened. So B is going to be 85 degrees on the y-axis. And when the player leaves the trigger box, we are going to reverse, which means from B, from opened, is going to close to 0. Now let's compile and save. Let's see if this is working. Okay, looks very tiny. Now let's make it a bit bigger. Select the root, and let's make it 3 times bigger. Or maybe 5 times. And let's rotate the whole door. And let's play it to see if it's working. Okay, now let's do one more thing so we can see the trigger box. So select the trigger box and let's make it visible in game. This is just for debugging purposes. And let's extend this box. So if you want to resize this trigger box, always use the box extend. So this applies for trigger boxes. Now let's extend it on the X, maybe like 100. And let's select this arrow and we can simply put it a bit back. Now let's see if it's working. Now it's opening to 85 degrees. And when I leave the box, it's closing. Now, why are we using this play and reverse? If it's play from start, it's not going to be good because look what's going to happen. So it's playing from start. And if I want to do this, you see, it's going to play from the beginning. And we don't want that. So that's why play from here. Now there are many other things you can do. Let's select this and right click, collapse to function, opening door update. Now if you open it up, you can get this B pin. So this is the opening and closing. So select this input and type opening angle. If you click this drop down, 90 is going to be the default, or 85. So that's the default value. Now see this number here. You can make it maybe like 20. So it's going to be more modular. So it's going to open for 20 degrees. Now let's see how we can change the speed of this. Now when you open the door, let me detach this from true, get the door timeline, get and type set play rate. So this is the play rate of this timeline. So 1 is a default, but if you put here maybe something like 5, that means it's going to be 5 times faster than the speed what is inside here. Now let's test it out. Okay, now let's open it up a bit more. So from here, maybe like 100 degrees to the Y. So it's going to be much different. We can also even make it like a other gameplay mechanics like this. Okay. Now if you want to make it even more modular, let's do some other stuff. Now drag a pin from here and promote to variable. So it's going to be opening angle automatically named, and the default value is going to be 90. Let's make it proper. Now go to instance editable here, or you can click here, this eye icon. Now if you go to the game, when you select it, over here we have opening angle, and you can tweak it here inside the editor. Okay, let's make it 45 just to make sure it's working. Okay, it's working. Now let's do the same thing for the speed. So go to the new rate, drag a pin and promote to variable. And let's name it opening, closing, speed, like this. Click this icon. I have to compile. And let's put it 1 as a default. And now when you select this door, we have here opening, closing, speed. Now 1 is default. Let's see if it's working. Okay, now let's make it faster. So let's say 7 times faster. Okay, now we have this here, the text default. Now it's not very user friendly. Let's change this category. If you go back to the garage door, now if you select any of these, you have over here category default. Now if you start typing here something like door, now automatically we have created this category here, this door. You see we have a drop down. Now we have this opening door inside this door category, but this one is outside the float one. Now you can click and drag this variable and put it inside the door category. Now they are under this drop down. And if you go to the actor, you see we have changed this door category. Okay, so this is how we are making more modular blueprints. And one last thing before we finish this video. Let's put this all the way back. Let's create a reroute node to make some more space. Now from this direction, drag a pin and type switch. So when the timeline finishes in any direction, so forward means when it goes to open and it finishes, and backward means the other way. I can right click and type sound 2D. Now you can add one sound when the door is open, and you can add another sound when the door is closed. Now if you want to have the same sound, simply delete one of these and do it like this. So they're gonna share the same sound when the door is opened and closed. Now let's see if it's working. I'll just put the explosion sound just for testing purposes. Now let's see. Okay, it's working perfectly fine. This is going to be it for this video. I hope you learned something new and interesting. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.